Good afternoon, welcome to GrainTV. My name's Cody Bills, this is Logan Burgess. Today is January 31st. We had a bit of a mixed trade here in Chicago today. We were started off selling very hard. We actually rallied back for the close for soybeans and for wheat. Let's take a look at fire tip. Let's see where we close off the day. Corn actually traded up 1.5 cents. Soybeans traded down 7.5. Wheat in Chicago traded off 7.25, and Kansas City wheat traded down 3. Now we did have export sales come out this morning. It seems as though the trends that we've noticed throughout the marketing year have continued. Right. But where does that leave us in terms of meeting the USDA's expectations?
Yeah, Cody, well, just looking at the numbers today, wheat did meet analyst expectations. Corn met analyst expectations as well. We had 186,000 metric tons reported for corn. As we said, that was right in line with analyst expectations. On soybeans, the high end of trade expectations were about 850,000 metric tons there. We actually came in around 1,253,000 metric tons. So another exceptionally strong week there for soybeans. And if we break down this soybean number a little bit in more detail here, we can see that a majority of those sales did come for the 13-14 crop year. And according to our model here, the red line is the pace needed to meet USDA expectations for the current marketing year. And as you can see, this week's number came in well below that. But in general, we're still ahead of pace to meet those USDA expectations by 136 million bushels, backing off about 4 million bushels on the week.
Now, you know, we would expect to see a lot of the sales that we've been able to achieve this year really being kind of front-loaded. Now, once Brazil really starts harvesting their soybeans and they start moving them to port, a lot of these sales that we've been kind of really benefiting from are going to start tapering off here. Now, do you think that you know, all this, we're ahead 136 million bushels, but do you think that that's enough to be able to achieve the USDA's forecast as soon as Brazil starts coming online and being able to sell beans at a very low cost rate?
Yeah, you know, obviously Brazil is going to be incredibly competitive with our export market here when those beans do come out of the country. I think a big question, though, still to be answered is logistically, can Brazil get this massive crop they have grown to market in an efficient way? I think that there's a chance that once Brazil does start harvesting those beans, there's certainly still a chance that the U.S. may be getting some business just from the fact that logistical issues are going to persist down in Brazil. A lot of people are starting to talk about that. That certainly seems to be putting a little bit of a bid here in our futures market already.
Yeah, it seems that there's some transportation laws that actually could slow the movement from the fields to the ports. So that's going to be interesting to watch. Now, you know, Logan, we did have some good price action for corn. Now, we did only finish up 1.5 cents higher, but do you think there's a chance that corn could actually continue moving higher, or you know, do you think maybe we have abysmal ethanol production numbers? That was the lowest in since we've been reporting ethanol numbers. We've had export sales which really continue to come in below what our model needs to meet the USDA's expectations. Do you think that corn can continue, in the face of that, continue to move higher?
You know, it seems like right now there is a chance that corn could move higher. It seems like we've surpassed some technical barriers to this trade moving higher. This area of 734 that we were talking quite a bit about, that acted as pretty substantial resistance to the March corn contract. Yesterday we were able to close above that, and today we traded down and that acted as support. So that kind of opens the door here to a move higher in general for corn. At this point, it looks like the downtrend that we've been watching in corn has been broken, and it certainly opens up the door for a move higher there. As you said, though, export sales and ethanol have both really disappointed here throughout the marketing year. You know, in what we saw today's export sales report for corn, it did meet analyst expectations, but historically, what we're used to seeing at this time of year, it's nothing to write home about. And our models still show that the USDA is going to need to revise their expectations for corn a little bit here moving forward. The one bullish story that we talked about prior to the January WASDE report, and that you and I were talking a little bit about before the show, is the feed number, though, in particular.
Yeah, and I think feed is really what is going to be driving this market higher. The feed number is very hard to monitor on a week-to-week basis. You know, you can't do it. But we do know that the broiler number that came out on Wednesday didn't show any significant curbing of the amount of broiler placement. So the bottom line here is that feed number, I think, is what the market is going to have to curb. And before, you know, to be able to curb that, I think we're going to see a hit in ethanol. I think we're going to see a hit in export sales. But I wouldn't be be surprised. Technically, we seem pretty strong, and I think that we could get up to that range that we've seen since really kind of November, the high side of that range that we traded in from kind of September to November time frame. So, you know, maybe we could get up another 30 cents. I wouldn't be surprised if we move up to around 760 area, maybe another 20, 30 cents higher.
Right, absolutely. Well, we'll keep you posted here on GrainTV on the feed front by way of the cattle on feed report, by way of broiler numbers that we're going to be getting here. But the next firm idea of feed usage is going to come in that March quarterly grain stocks report. So obviously people are going to be watching that very closely as it nears here. But as we said, right now, the feed number is kind of the gas in this corn tank right now. And it looks like things could be moving a little bit higher here. We'll just have to wait and see. If you guys want to take a look at the trading platform we've been using here on GrainTV, you can always visit us over at grainhedge.com and get a no obligation demo of it and take a look for yourself. But, you know, in general, Cody, I think that kind of wraps up our show here for Thursday afternoon. Thanks a lot for joining us here on GrainTV. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow.